This is Can't Get Right MMA, and today I'm going to be going over some UFC lore that's been stuck in my head. And right off the bat, I got to go over the universal irony that is Israel Adesanya eating his words. Do y'all remember the quote, the backstory, the rivalry between Pereira and Adesanya? Adesanya said in an interview, I'm going to play the video here soon, but he was saying, Alex Pereira, he's going to be that one guy at a pub, at a bar, saying, I beat that guy one time.
And even the same guy now he watches all my fights, and every time I fight, like clockwork, he'll try and put something out like, I beat this guy. But I've never ever watched any of his fights, ever. So at the end of the day, no one knows who the he is. And he's gonna be that guy when I'm world champion, when I'm a legend. He's gonna be at some pub, talking some shit about, I beat that guy one time, trying to get a dick sucked from a crack whore or some shit.
And Alex Pereira ended up being 3-1 against Adesanya, 2 wins against him in kickboxing. One of them is kind of debatable, but 2 wins in kickboxing and 1 in the UFC. And then Israel Adesanya, he got the last laugh, right? But it's the funniest shit ever that whenever Israel Adesanya went on Demetrius Johnson's podcast, they were at a bar, they were drinking, and he talks about how he beat Alex Pereira that one time. He only beat Alex Pereira that one time, and it's just universal irony.
I was different. I was like, ain't no way this motherfucker beat me 4 times. And it's about the story. So now I beat him once. How ironic. I beat him once. But then what's this? If I fight him again, I knock him out. What's that? What are you going to say?
Oh, you already did that.
Oh, it's 3-2.
Yeah.
No, best out of 7.
And even Israel Adesanya couldn't even look past the irony. He even said, how ironic. But he didn't even know he doesn't even know how funny that is, bro. That is hilarious. I low-key want to ramble about that some more, but I'm going to let that sit. Also, Pereira's the GOAT. But let's get into the next piece of UFC lore that's been stuck in my head. Lyoto Machida drinking his own urine. So basically, it was a tradition him and his father did, right? It was just a tradition, and they believed it helped the body. You know how like the snake oil pitches are, like, it will detox you and it will cleanse all of this stuff out of your body. That's basically what it was. Like, they believed it helped the body, like the immune system and cleansing the body, detoxing, even though it literally did the complete opposite, right? You know what I'm saying? Your body, that pee is waste. Urine is waste. Your body is letting go of that waste, and you drinking your pee, your waste that your body flushed all of that out, is making your liver work overtime. It's like it puts way much more tax on your liver, and it's way like it literally does that's so funny. It literally does the opposite of what it was like supposed to do. But it was a tradition that Lyoto Machida and his father did. I don't know. That's kind of dumb, I guess, but I don't know. Notice. All right, I want to go over this other piece of lore that's been stuck in my head. Jon Jones, he is a textbook narcissist. The grass is green, right? Everybody knows this. But I want to go over this specific story that Chael Sonnen told us. It was in the video of Chael Sonnen breaking down the DV charges. Now I'm going to say DV charges that Jon Jones got and the arrest footage. He was going over that in a video, and at the end of it, he was telling us about a story whenever Jon Jones, he went to go get his license, right? After he got suspended, he went to go get his license, and the guy, you know what I'm saying, he was like, I vote yes to get your license back. But he said, but the guy that voted yes and saying he wanted to get Jon Jones his license back, he said man to man, hey, take responsibility for the bad actions that you were doing. This was before the DV charges, I'm pretty sure. He said, take responsibility for what you're doing, how you're affecting these people, right? We all know hit and run, pregnant lady broke her arm. We all know that stuff, right? He said, take responsibility, man. This is very bad what you're doing to people. And Jon Jones' response was, yeah, it can affect your legacy. But yeah, I'm going to roll the clip right now of how Chael Sonnen relayed the story.
Commissioner in California told him, I'm going to vote yes. I'm going to give you your license back. But man to man, I need you to accept responsibility. You're not only in a position where you could hurt somebody else, you're stealing their dreams. You're stealing a victory from them. This is very bad what you're doing to other people. Commissioner laid out John's response, of which John did not need one. He was not asked a question. John's response, yeah, it can affect your legacy. And the commissioner comes right over the top of him and goes, no. See, that's what I'm talking about. You're still talking about you. You're talking about your legacy. I'm talking about how it affects other people. And the look on John's face, he didn't have the foggiest idea what this man was speaking of. He had no idea why it would possibly matter or what language was even being said to him. When the guy told him this isn't all about you, he was generally confused.
Yeah, nasty work, bro, nasty work. And on top of that, in that same video, Chael Sonnen made a great point, right? And Jon Jones, as he was getting arrested for those DV charges, right, he said to an officer, how dare you arrest me on the biggest night? Like, this is the Hall of Fame. How dare you arrest me on the biggest night of my life? Because it was that when he got arrested, that arrest footage, that was the same night he got entered in the Hall of Fame, right? And an officer doing his job, trying to detain John Jones, has evidence or suspicion of DV. You know what I'm saying? With the blood, the children telling the people at the hotel to call the police. The officer just doing his job, trying to make sure there isn't any bad thing going on, you know. He said, how dare they do their job and detain him, or, you know what I'm saying, question him whenever it's the biggest night of his life.
Now here we are years later with an officer following up, doing his job, has done nothing more but detain a man, and he's telling them, you don't have the right to do your job following the law and not let me get away with X, Y, and Z when this is my night.
That's just textbook narcissism. I don't know what else to say, bro. And you may say, oh, he's drunk, or he has demons, bro. No, he's the demon, bro. Literally, bro. That's what Guru said, bro. No, he's the demon, bro. That ass. Like I said, John Jones, just a textbook narcissist, and it's Loki said. But also, speaking of Chael Sonnen knows D.B. Cooper. Now, you may be asking, who's D.B. Cooper? D.B. Cooper is an infamous airplane hijacker who got off scot-free, right? He hijacked a plane, got some money. Y'all can do y'all's own research on this, right? I'm not going to do like a whole D.B. Cooper breakdown, you know? But, yeah, he's an airplane hijacker who just got off scot-free. And Chael Sonnen multiple times has proclaimed that he knows who D.B. Cooper is. He's met D.B. Cooper, and he made multiple videos on it, right? And he added other parts of the story, say like that the FBI might have not have known, or the CIA they might have not have known. And he added other parts of the story, like I think he was added like, oh, where he landed here, and then he said he was a Native American guy. And Chael often like beckoned the fans to ask him about it. Like, he wanted the fans to ask him about it. He wanted the CIA or the FBI to ask Chael Sonnen some more information about it. But eventually he did get a call from like the FBI or the CIA saying that they don't really care about that. Like, it's not really a case worth pursuing, or they don't really care, right? And it was kind of a disappointment to him. But it's pretty cool that he's claiming that he knows a very infamous airplane hijacker, like a very infamous criminal in like USA history, or in history. Yeah, pretty interesting.
By the way, I mean, I like throw that in on the back of telling you a bunch of other wild and crazy stories, but like that, those are all of the interesting things of my whole life. But all of those things,
you know, the DB
happened
Cooper
in my
story?
life.
No, who's DB Cooper?
DB Cooper is the most famous hijacker of all time. He hijacked a plane that left Portland, headed for Seattle. And he handcuffed himself to a flight attendant. Then he opened his briefcases before he had metal detectors and stuff to get on airplanes, and it was what he led her to believe was a bomb. So he had him set the plane down, bring $200,000 in cash and 2 parachutes. So they took the plane off. He took the money, put one of the parachutes on, and jumped.
Oh, and they never found him.
Never found him.
Never got found.
Never
and
found
you met him.
Yeah, no, he's my sister's godfather. Yeah, just a regular guy.
Not your godfather too?
No, just hers.
But your parents know him. But
yeah. Why? He's dead now. But yeah, it was a big deal. It was a big deal at the time. Then, like, every 10 years, somebody comes out with a new story on DB Cooper. Netflix just came out.
Tito Ortiz versus Dana White, man. This is funny as fuck, bro. Like, what can else I say, bro? Let's go over the beef real quick and all that. So Dana, he was Tito Ortiz's old manager. They had a beef, right? From like a fight on a private jet to money disputes, constant business frustrations. Dana White even has Chuck Liddell's gloves from whenever Chuck Liddell KO'd Tito Ortiz, and he has them like hung up on his office or house or something. And the thing is, Tito Ortiz, he used to hold the promotion ransom, if that's the term for it. He would threaten not to show up to events that he's main eventing, and he would say he would threaten not to show up so he can get more money, and that's what Dana White was saying, referring to whenever he said Tito Ortiz is so dumb that he would walk over dollars to pick up pennies. I mean, he was spitting there. And when Tito Ortiz, he signed his new contract, right? He was out of the UFC for a while, and then whenever it comes to the time where he was going to sign a new contract with the UFC, in that contract that he signed, he wanted a 3-round boxing match to be a part of it so he can fight Dana White in a boxing match, and it was signed. Dana White went through like a rigorous training camp, you know what I'm saying, and when it was weigh-in time, whenever it was time for Dana White and Tito Ortiz to weigh in, Tito was a no-show, man.
I trained for 7 months, ate shit that I didn't want to eat, spent time and energy to get ready for this thing. And he just blows it off. Calls me 2 days before and says, I'm going to let you off the hook. He's going to let me off the hook? I was in shape and ready for this thing. He didn't let me off the hook. That's it. I signed my contract with him. We made a deal. I saw the thing out. I did what I was supposed to do. So it's over.
Dana White, man, he was going through that training camp, boxing, all that, this big slugger Dana White. And yeah, Dana White did eventually spare Tito Ortiz because he was going to embarrass Tito Ortiz and make him look stupid. And that's why Tito Ortiz didn't show up. The light heavyweight champion, Dana White, the middle-aged promoter, saved Tito Ortiz from getting his ass whooped. The light heavyweight champion, of course.
Yeah.
In a boxing match, I was going to fuck him up and make him look stupid. And he knows that. If it was
Oh my gosh, bro. All right, this next one, right? Like the UFC list been stuck in my head is this one's kind of more recent. It's kind of stupid, but Sean O'Malley's no gooning arc, right? No gooning arc. So basically, in his rematch with Marab, he didn't goon, he didn't smoke as much, wasn't as active on social media, and I think he didn't really like play video games or something like that. Anyway, some of the UFC staff kind of use it as promotion, right? On how the fight might be different because Sean O'Malley, he didn't fight again to get the title shot. It's not like he was because he got an immediate rematch. He shouldn't have got the immediate rematch. Of course, it was Dana White privilege, but it's like, hey man, that's our boy. Who cares? He got the immediate rematch, so people were really just grasping at straws to dispute on whether would the fight be different, right? Oh, but guys, guess what? Sean O'Malley, he hasn't been gooning or smoking as much weed, right? And he hasn't been active on social media. This is gonna be a new Sean O'Malley, and people were kind of some people that is were using that as like a promotional thing of, like I said, how that fight will be different, and it was just funny, man. The no gooning method. Oh my gosh. Let's get into the next piece of media, bro. Oh my gosh, Bryce Mitchell's mustache man arc, bro. Y'all just had to be there. Oh my, I bet some of y'all, those who know, man. So it was the first episode of Bryce Mitchell's podcast. What was it? The Arc Insanity podcast. Basically, literally the first episode. It was him and his co-host. He was getting into how the H cost wasn't real. That's what he said. And he was talking about what else? The Jews. You know what they were doing? They were charging interest. So much other stuff. Also saying, oh, let me justify that real quick. Talking about Japanese being in labor or slave camps, something like that. Oh my gosh. And then basically this whole arc, right? This whole arc. And then once that first episode of his podcast with all these topics going on. Also, no, let me get into the main thing. He said the mustache man, he was a good guy and someone to go fishing with. He said, but hold on, hear me out though. This was before the meth, guys. Come on. That's the part that they like to cut that out, They're gonna clip that and cut that out. They forget, man, he said that before he went on the meth and did all those atrocities. He was a good guy and he would go fishing with him. But yeah, so all of this stuff got clipped. It got super big in the MMA space. It, like I said, you just had to be there. It was funny as hell, bro. It was funny as hell. Dana White talking about how stupid he was. And on top of that, the Jackson podcast, bro. Bryce Mitchell went on to the Jackson podcast. This is the first appearance he had since that controversial podcast that he made. And I watched that podcast got deleted, right? But it was a good podcast, bro. I was watching it. All right, Bryce Mitchell and Rampage Jackson, they're talking about their beliefs of the Bible. They were going over scriptural debates or whatever. They also talk about how they believe in the flat earth or whatever. Pretty interesting. And also, yeah, they were talking about a whole bunch of other stuff. And then in the middle of them trying to come to an understanding, obviously, Bear, this was a co-host of the Jackson pod. He was kind of people were saying he was trying to get a gotcha moment on him, which was kind of true, but near the end of it, he was actually kind of getting an understanding of it, right? Of Bryce Mitchell's perspective. But he was saying, oh, if you're he was basically trying to say if you're use your faith for good, not evil, basically. But he was kind of, like I said, trying to get that gotcha moment, a lot of people were saying. But it wasn't as bad as some people say, but it was kind of forcey, pushy, and the only reason he got onto the podcast was to get, put a hit piece on Bryce Mitchell. But the podcast did get deleted, like I said. You could probably find the re-upload still on YouTube. I have it in one of my favorite videos because I don't know. It was just a fun time, bro. Same with also Bryce Mitchell. He went on the MMA Gurus pod. Obviously, MMA Guru was gonna go fishing with Bryce. Now I don't really agree of Bryce Mitchell's takes on certain things, but it's still, I don't know. He's still an interesting character. That is, he's just an interesting character, and I don't really have to agree with everything he says. But it's not like I'm a diehard fan of Bryce Mitchell. But I don't know. Some things there's oh, that's pretty interesting. I'll watch, But I'm not really a big fan of him. But yeah, you just had to be there. That shit was funny as hell. All right, now another piece of UFC lore that's been stuck in my head is Oliveira. Charles Oliveira. He was paralyzed as a kid. He was a young kid in the poor favelas of Brazil. Charles Oliveira was diagnosed with a heart murmur and aromatic fever. Yeah, and he was paralyzed at the age of 7. Doctors said it was recommended. Doctors said it wasn't really recommended. He doesn't play any sports, doesn't do any physical activity, and After years of constant injections, being in and out of the hospital, him not being able to live life like a normal kid, his life changed. Despite all the odds, man, he found his passion of jiu-jitsu, actively competed, won multiple tournaments, and some months later he was cured and off to make a name for himself and became the Charles Oliveira we know today, man. Truly inspirational. And yeah, dope story, man. Shout out Charles Oliveira. Now I'm gonna get into some quick ones. I'm just going with some quick UFC lore that's been stuck in my head. Nate Diaz was really booked against Hamza Chimaev, bro. That's fucking insane. Like obviously, like looking like that shit was just hilarious, bro. Also, Tony Ferguson, he went from a 12-fight win streak in the UFC, an interim champion, to fighting guys like Salt Poppy in a boxing match. Yeah, that is just sad, but hey, man, at least you won, though. At least you won. Also, another piece of the UFC lore, like I said, these are all quick ones. Yuri Prohaska and Piotr Jan never got a title defense. Also, Lerone Murphy got shot in the face. Another one, but y'all are going to unsubscribe after this. Volkov is 6'7".
Here's what I say about him, Helen, Hitler, Helen the Nazis. I really don't think that he was, because I honestly think that Hitler was a good guy based upon my own research, not my public education indoctrination. I really do think before Hitler got on meth, he was a guy I'd go fishing with. He fought for his country. He wanted to purify it by kicking the greedy Jews out that were destroying his country and turning them all into gays. They were gaying out the kids. They were queering out the women. They were queering out the dudes. They were, you know what her first tranny surgery ever was? Happened to be in Germany before Hitler took over. You know the books that everybody makes fun of Hitler burning? You know what the books was? Queer books. Hitler burned queer books because Hitler didn't want a bunch of queers destroying his nation. They can't produce children.
But what,
okay?
What about
when he got on meth and he turned on Russia? I believe that's when he kind of went full nutty. He wanted a pure nation with people. You know what the Jews was doing? They was charging interest. Christians aren't allowed to do that. Like
There's plenty of Christians charging interest everywhere on the planet
I don't.
right now.
If you need to borrow $1,000, Rolly, I give you $1,000, and you wouldn't give me 1,100 back. You'd give me 1,000 back.
Bad to take out a whole to put a whole race into camps. When
Right,
Jewish
and that's what your public education will tell you, Rolly, because you believe your public education because you haven't done your own research. When you realize there's no possible way they could have burned and cremated 6 million bodies, you're going to realize that they did not. The Holocaust ain't real, and that's what happened. And I don't believe that he's that bad of a guy. But I'm saying all this about Hitler to say that, if anything, Elon Musk would be against Hitler because Hitler, he was for freedom. Elon Musk is for control. Elon Musk wants to put a chip up your ass and know every thought and control every move that you make. Hitler just wanted to free his people in his prime. Now, when he got on meth, I do think he went bad.
When you take a whole, like what we did to the Japanese during World War II, that was wrong. We can't take all the Japanese people and put them in camps. Okay.
Well, let me justify that real quick. It's time of war. Did we kill those Japs?
What's that?
Did we kill those Japs?
No.
Second of all, Hitler is one of the most disgusting and evil human beings to ever walk the face of the earth. And anyone that even tries to take an opposing position is a moron. That's the problem with the internet and social media. You provide a platform for a lot of dumb, ignorant people. We've obviously reached out to Bryce, and when we read what he said and let him know how we feel about it, I don't even, we're beyond disgusted. So for those of you that don't know what's going on, good, you're lucky. For those of you that do, that's what I have to say about it. Who's got the first question?
Hey, Dana.
Hey.
It's obviously not a fun topic to talk about the Bryce stuff. I think that's a great statement that you just gave. Does Bryce Mitchell face a punishment from the UFC for saying
That's what everybody wants to hear about punishment. It's free speech. I don't have to love it. You don't have to love it. You know.
I agree with that, the free speech sentiment. Is there a concern, though, Brian, if he goes out and wins a fight and gets a mic?
Well, that's the beautiful thing about this business. For all of you that hate Bryce Mitchell, you get to see him hopefully get his ass whooped on global television.
That we can have this conversation, not argument. We can all believe what we want as long as it goes in the right direction.
Absolutely.
But you cannot spill things at people like that, right?
Well, let me respond to that real quick. You keep saying, if I believe in God. Let me tell you, brother, that's about as backward of a statement as you could make. There ain't no if. I'm telling you right now that I know that Jesus Christ is God, the Son of God. There ain't no if, there ain't no and, and there ain't no buts. I'm telling you, I know Jesus Christ. I have called on his name, and he has casted demons from my life. I have seen it, and I know. There's no debate there. I know Jesus Christ is Lord. And then from that, everything.
And from that, I would hope.
Abrasive or confrontational because I have my own.
I don't want to be confrontational. I don't want to give up.
I'm just saying.
Feel comfortable saying, let it all out.
Yeah.
No, I'm not mad at you, bro.
Anything
Bryce,
you say to me, bro, my family has said worse. Say what you want.
Bryce, I'm
Now
not
is the
mad at you.
time to
I'm not
say
mad at you. My job is not to make you feel worse or bad. You should feel that for the things you said. My job as a good person is just to help you come to the understanding that besides an apology or whatever you did, now is your time to find some soul searching and recuperate as a person and figure out what you really did mean or didn't mean. It's not my job to tell you what you meant or didn't mean. Just my job to hopefully educate you in the way that.
Calm down, brother.
Well, there's two things though that I do want to address. And one is that you said that the mark of the beast is not inevitable. I don't believe that you meant that, or maybe I misheard it.
This is what I wanted to avoid. This is what I wanted to avoid. See,
it's a scriptural debate. We're
Right.
Christians. Let's
I
talk
know,
about it. How do you not believe the mark of the beast is inevitable?
But the scripture talks about Judgment Day.
You don't believe in Revelation, is what you're telling me?
And it talks about Judgment Day.
Yes.
Yes.
The day of Armageddon.
Yes.
Jesus comes back on a white horse.
Yes.
Yes.
What does it end with?
Armageddon.
No, and then what did you just say?
1,000 years of peace after Jesus comes back. He destroys all the evil on the planet, including the Antichrist. And
That's all I'm trying to get at, Bryce. Like, pass the information, and then hopefully, as a good person, you end it with some positivity that can give people hope. The job here is not to give people fear. Right?
So
that's all I'm saying.
So you're saying that by me talking about the mark of the beast?
No, I'm just talking about you got to complete the sentence. I know. But I don't want anything to be miscalibrated. I don't think he. I just want to be very clear. No, I believe what you're saying in Judgment Day, in exactly what you're saying, but then end it with the fact that there is hope for the people that do believe.
There's always hope, brother.
And end it with that. And then continue, because I don't want to talk about negativity. I don't want to talk about the mark of the beast. I want to talk about how to overcome the mark of the beast. I want to talk about how a guy like Rampage could be looking out for me 10 years younger than him since I was 20 years old as a friend, right? I want to talk about the things that bring people and culture together. That's why we did this platform.
See, this is the thing. I'm in this conversation with you guys, and you know what I'm saying, I'm a believer. You know, so I'm very spiritual. I used to be religious, and my opinion is that religion is man-made, but you know what I'm saying, I read the Bible. I believe that the Old Testament is a history book. It's a true history book. I have my beliefs, but I don't push my beliefs on other people. But that's me. You on a different mission. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where he's coming from. I understand where you're coming from, and that's why I didn't want to get into that debate, because it's never good to debate with people about religion, because that's why there are so many different denominations, because us three can read the same scripture and get three different ideas about it. It's a living book, and just the way we are. So I understand what you're saying. You want to let people know, like, repent and do all this stuff, because you know things happen. And embarrassed, like, yeah, but he like the positive side, like, what's going to happen is going to happen. But you know what I'm saying, God said no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And after all that stuff said and done, after Jesus come back on a white horse, it will be peace for 1,000 years. You know, it's going to be good. Like, you know, if it's in the Bible and it's in the Revelation, it says it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But it don't end with that. It don't just.
No, that's not the end of the story. It's the mark of the beast or whatever. But you know, the only reason I brought that up is because I see it coming to that in our lifetime. I see that
all of society is battling a lot of demonicness. There's a lot of things being promoted right now that tear people apart.
Yeah, but
our job. No, I got to say this though. Our job right now, and Bryce, he understands this concept. I believe you do. Our job is to figure out the holes in society. Our job is not to be Superman or Batman, but our job is to figure out the holes in society and do our best every day, putting a foot forward, bringing people together. That's it. And at the end of the day, sometimes my personal opinion is, if something you're saying is going to hurt someone, hurt their family, hurt their religion, hurt their past, maybe it's better you just keep that in your head.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm not saying freedom of speech is bad. I appreciate you.
And you're right. And I shouldn't have said what I said, but
we can move
I
past
believe that if I would have said everything that I said in a historical context and talked like a history teacher and just been much more sensitive to people's feelings. I believe that I could have said the words that I said and not offended people. And I didn't mean to offend people, bro. If I would have known that people was literally going to get mad at what I said, I wouldn't have said it. I promise. But it's too late. And like I said, I don't think he's a good guy. I made it very clear.
Yeah.
And
let's shift from this. I want to know as a person, though, and sorry to cut you off, Rampage, because I want to, first of all, I think the audience and the whole world will appreciate that apology. I think the whole world understands right now what you're saying. I'm glad you were able to say it how you wanted to say it.
Well, thank you for letting me.
And I think that, like, as a person, though, it's your job now as a person, honestly, because of the position you are in society. Where do you go from here? Where does you talk about your family in a very loving way? Talk about your kid in a very loving way. I know last time you were trying to come on the podcast, you couldn't. You had chickens and you had to attend to your farm.
Yeah, I bitched out because I had a fight offer like last minute, and it was literally the day. So I apologize about that. But last time I was supposed to come on the show, the day of, I was like, I can't go anymore. I got a fight offer like 2 days before. So I spent a couple of days thinking, should I go do the podcast or should I just train my ass off?
Train your ass off, man.
I trained my ass off, and then guess what? The fight got pulled. So then it looked like, oh, well, he's just making shit up. But no, you know.
I believe everything happens for a reason.
But this was the perfect timing because I believe that y'all are giving me the opportunity to make myself look normal, and that's what God wanted for me.
Well, I formal apology if that's what's in his heart. I'm gonna tell you my story. Years ago, I wasn't seeing eye to eye with Dana. I tried to get him to cut me. I did some stupid skits and stuff like that. I tried to get him to cut me, and Dana saw right through my shit, and he didn't even fucking care. And I was wondering if he was going to, you know, I don't follow the news and stuff that much. I was wondering if he could, but you know, that's good. You can still come back from this. You know what I'm saying? It's